The universe we are living in may not be the only one out there. In fact, the universe could be just one of an infinite number of universes making up a multiverse. Even though the concept may stretch credulity, there's reasonable physics behind it, and there's not just one way to get to a multiverse. A number of physics theories independently point to such a conclusion. Some specialists think the existence of hidden universes is more likely than not. Here are the most 5 plausible scientific theories suggesting we live in a multiverse. Stay till the end to know it all. Hey people, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll be looking at the 5 reasons why it is true that we live in a multiverse. The multiverse is a highly controversial idea, but at its core, it's a straightforward concept. Just as the Earth doesn't occupy a unique position in the universe, nor does the Sun, the Milky Way, or any other place, the multiverse goes a step farther and claims that there's nothing special about the whole visible universe. The multiverse is a concept that our universe and all that's included within it is just one small part of a larger structure. This larger entity encapsulates our observable universe as a small part of a larger universe that extends beyond the limits of our observations. That entire structure of the unobservable universe may itself be part of a larger space-time that includes many other disconnected universes, which may or may not be similar to the universe we inhabit. 5. Occupational evidence suggests a multiverse could exist. The European Space Agency's Planck Orbital Observatory gathers data on the cosmic microwave background, or CMB, background radiation that still lingers from the early, hot stage of the universe's existence, but that research also has indicated what could be proof of a multiverse. In 2010, a group of scientists from Great Britain, Canada, and the United States discovered 4 odd, apparently unlikely circular patterns in the CMB. They explained that the marks essentially were bruises that our universe got from bumping into other universes. In 2015, ESA researcher Rang Ram Cherry had a similar discovery. Cherry took a dummy of the CMB out of the observatory's picture of the sky and then took everything that we know about it, star, gas, interstellar dust, you name it. At this point, the sky should have been pretty much empty, apart from some background noise, but it wasn't. Instead, in a specific frequency range, Cherry could detect scattered patches in the map of the cosmos, areas that were around 4,500 times brighter than they should have been. The researcher came up with a different possible explanation. The patches could be imprints from a collision between our universe and a parallel one. As Cherry explained to earthsky.org, unless someone comes up with another way to explain the patches, one has to conclude that nature may be playing dice after all, and we are just a random universe among a multitude of others. 4. The universe is too big to rule out that parallel realities don't exist. There's a probability that a multiverse exists, even though we haven't seen any of those parallel realities, because we can't entirely prove that it doesn't exist. We know that seems like a convenient, lofty trick, but think of it this way. Even in our universe, we've discovered many things that we previously didn't know existed, and we've had events occur. The 2008 global financial meltdown is an excellent example that nobody ever thought was possible. There's even a name for it, Black Swan events, titled after the philosopher David Hume's observation that people would assume all swans were white until they saw a black one. The universe's scale is the feature that makes the possibility of a multiverse all the more believable. We see that the universe is very, very big, and possibly even infinite in size. This means we may not be able to see or learn everything that exists in the universe. Since scientists have found that the universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old, that means we can only see the light that's been able to reach us in that time frame. If a parallel reality simply were farther away than 13.8 billion light years, there would be no way for us to know it was out there, even if it existed in dimensions that we're capable of perceiving. 3. Time travelers can't mess up history. The enduring popularity of the Back to the Future movie trilogy has made a lot of us amazed by the idea of time travel. Since the movies came out, finally, nobody actually has developed a trash-powered DeLorean that's able to go back and forth between decades or centuries. Even so, some scientists think that time travel might be at least theoretically possible. Considering that this could happen, we could run the same danger that BTTF protagonist Marty McFly encountered, the risk of inadvertently doing something to alter a past event, which in turn triggers a series of events to change the course of history. In the first Back to the Future, as you might remember, McFly accidentally stopped an event that led to his parents dating and falling in love that threatened to erase him from the family snapshots. That needed a lot of plotting, and McFly's part to ensure that they actually did get together and procreate. But as Gizmo writer George Davosky mentioned in a 2015 article, the existence of a multiverse would make all those antics unnecessary. The presence of alternate universes means that there isn't one timeline to screw up, he wrote. Instead, if a person had gone back in time and changed things, he'd simply spawn a whole new set of parallel universes. Physicists have looked at time travel to be theoretically possible since Einstein came up with his theory of relativity. Einstein's calculations suggest an object in our universe can travel through space and time in a circular direction, gradually ending up at a point on its journey where it's been before a path that is called the closed time-like curve. Still, scientists continue to struggle with scenarios that relate to the fiction in which time travelers alter events that already happened. The most famous example is known as the grandfather paradox. Say a time traveler goes back to the past and kills a younger version of his or her grandfather. The grandfather then wouldn't have any children, erasing the time traveler's parents and of course the time traveler too. But then, who would kill grandpa? 2. People have imagined multiverses from the early times. This isn't great proof, of course, but it's still intriguing to think about that old saying, variously attributed to Picasso, or even the writer Susan Sontag, that if you are capable of imagining something, it must exist. And there might even be something to that. After all, way before Hugh Everett sipped his sherry, many people in history imagined different versions of a multiverse. Ancient Indian religious texts, for instance, are filled with descriptions of multiple parallel universes. And in the book Worlds Without End, The Many Lives of the Universe, Wesleyan University religion professor Mary Jane Rubenstein mentions that the ancient Greeks had the atomist school of philosophy, which held that there was an infinite number of worlds scattered throughout a similarly endless void. In medieval times, the concept of multiple universes also resonated. In 1277, for instance, the Bishop of Paris even argued that Greek philosopher Aristotle had been wrong to say that there was only one possible world because that questioned an omnipotent God's power to build parallel ones. The concept was resurrected once again in the 1600s by Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, one of the greatest leaders of the scientific revolution. He argued that there were many possible worlds, each with different physics. 1. It perfectly fits our pattern of knowledge about the universe. As bizarre as the idea of a multiverse might seem, in a way it actually fits the progression through the modern history of how humans see themselves and the universe. As physicists Alexander Vilenkin and Max Tegmark mentioned in a 2011 Scientific American essay, people in Western civilization have been successively more humbled as they've discovered the nature of reality. They began out thinking the Earth was the center of everything. We learned that that wasn't true and that even our solar system was just not a particularly significant part of the Milky Way. The multiverse would take that pattern to its logical extreme. If multiverses exist, that means that we're not that unique at all, because there are infinite versions of each of us, but some think that we're just at the beginning of a mind-expanding trip. As Stanford University theoretical physicist Leonard Susskind has written, it could be that a couple of centuries from now, philosophers and scientists will look back on our time as a golden age in which the narrow, provincial 20th century concept of the universe gave way to a bigger, better multiverse of mind-boggling proportions. However, the possibility of multiple universes also comes up with some unsettling implications. For example, some calculations suggest that a reality with infinite space and infinite universes would necessarily have to repeat itself sometimes, leading to the conclusion that copies of Earth and everyone on it exist somewhere else out there. Let us know in the comments below if you found this video interesting, and make sure to hit that like button and stay tuned. See you again with another exciting video. Until then, goodbye.